Does this look better? Does it look better? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Peter Planter, and for today's video I'm going to be talking about my top 5 current favorite plants in my collection, because as we all know, or as I know, because in my case my favorite kind of fluctuates between plants to plants in my collection every week or every month. It really depends on who is growing better, I'm just gonna call it who is doing or looking fine, who is, you know, just those who is what ifs, those kind of stuff. And yeah, happy new year to everyone. This is my first video in this year. Happy 2021, and I really hope that everyone's doing well. And yeah, that's it. So I hope everyone's year is going great so far, and in my case it is going great so far. And I apologize in advance, because you're gonna see me in this kind of setting where it's kind of dark outside. It's not in the day, because there's a current construction in my house and it's gonna be very noisy in the day if I film in the day. So you're gonna hear that sound. So yeah, you can't really film in that kind of case, you know what I mean? Am I dirty? And yes, I do have a lot of things to do in the morning, so I will film in the nighttime. So without further ado, let's start, because I am just talking too much. So the first plant I'm going to talk about is this guy right here that is in my left side. I'm really hoping that I am inside the frame. Because I cannot look at myself, because the camera, I'm using the rear camera of my camera of my phone, because your boy is not yet monetized, so I cannot afford yet to buy a camera or an editor or whatever you call it. But I will work. Let's work our way up there, shall we? Anyway, so this one, what I have here is my Philodendron Bromeliad variegata that is showing up variegations. I really hope that you can see the variegations in camera, but if you cannot, then I'm really sorry. So I'm just gonna put it right here. The pot's kind of dirty because this is, I placed this one outside, that's why it's growing so fast. So the story behind this one is, I bought this Bromeliad variegata about a year and 7 months ago, and now I think it's 2 years ago, since it's January. So I bought this one as a variegated Bromeliad, which was variegated. It had 3 variegated leaves, and it only cost me 700 pesos, if you believe me, 700 pesos pre-pandemic. And then I kind of lost my hope when it was growing. Like a few months later, it was growing all green leaves, and I was experimenting though. I decided to experiment it once it was this thick. I was experimenting on this plant, trying to recover or trying to get back the variegation. So I did a cutting from the only variegated stem that it had. So I had a cutting, I cannot see it, but basta. I took it out from the pot and had a snip, and after a few months, or I think after a month, it grew this variegated leaf right here. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to show you a clip if I have a clip. So it pushed out this variegated leaf right here, which is very, very pretty, and it turned out to be kind of yellowish in the first few weeks when it was unfurling, and now it's kind of milky white, not pure white, but milky white. And after this leaf came so many variegated leaf. And yes, I'm not cutting this one, I am not trimming it, because I'm waiting for the time where it grows so large I have to trim it. So right now it's not yet that large, and I know that I can handle this plant. And you know, when you have more green leaves, then the plant will produce more leaves faster compared to the plant that has more variegated leaves. So this is the number one on the list. And by the way, the plants I'm gonna mention from 1 to 5 isn't like the highest to lowest or the lowest to highest. I'm just gonna point that out, and I don't have like the hierarchy. I don't have the hierarchy here, so it's just plainly my top 5 among all my collection at the moment. It might change next week, it might change next month, who knows. Let's move on. Now I apologize if you see my shorts. I really don't know if I'm visible in the camera because I'm looking at the camera right now and I cannot see the screen. Please sponsor me with good cameras, please. Shout out. Anyways, for the second plant that I'm going to talk about in this list is none other than my fern. So if you guys know this fern, oh, the fan. Just let the fan be. It's kind of hot, warm, humid, whatever you call it. I don't have the air conditioning system in my room. But anyways, this one is my asparagus fern. And this has been with me for over a year now. And this one was just a free plant that came in with my variegated peace lily, variegated spathiphyllum. It just came in with that plant, and you know, at first I was like, yeah, it's just a weed. I'm just gonna throw it away. But at the Jig told me that it's a fern. It is an asparagus fern, and it's kind of worth it to keep. And I did. I tried to keep it. I tried my best to keep it alive, because I've only had one type of fern with me, two types of fern with me. One from my grandmother, which is a asplenium or bird's nest fern, and one I got from Liloan as well. It is a tiger fern. Now this is my third type of fern. I'm planning to get more ferns, and yeah, amazingly, this is part of my favorite list, or favorite plant in my collection as of the moment, because it has been growing a lot, and it kind of reminds me of the jungle. It kind of reminds me of, you know, like when I put this up like this, it kind of reminds me of being underneath the bamboo or like a canopy of trees. And it makes me want to stay here. It makes me want to be small and stay here on the ground and put a hammock. So yeah, one of my favorites. And if you don't have asparagus fern, I recommend. Fairly fine, but be careful. There is kind of thorns a little bit. So yeah, let's move on. All right, moving on to the third favorite plant in my list is none other than this plant right here. If you can see it in a frame, I am very conscious of my shorts. Maybe you can see it, but if you can, I'm sorry. Alright, let's talk about this plant right here. If you follow me on IG, I have made a story about months ago during the pandemic about this one dying, or almost dying. Yeah, it almost died on me. This is my first pinstripe calathea. Oh, this is a pinstripe calathea, if I haven't mentioned it yet. I haven't bought another pinstripe calathea. For your information, this is my very first pinstripe calathea, and it's doing well. I'm very proud of myself. So yeah, this was dying actually because it didn't like the humidity, let's say, or it didn't acclimate well, and it was dying. I just left it under the pomelo tree, and after a few weeks it shot out a growth. And right after I saw that, I was, oh, there might be a chance. So I made a way, or I just watered it every single time it was almost drying off, or drying. It was almost drying. Because as you all know, Calatheus doesn't like to dry out completely. And yeah, I kept it moist, and I tried not to disturb it in that kind of location. I think it really liked that location though, which has like dappled sunlight, very humid location. So yeah, I tried not to move it in the location until it was stable. So it grew about 3 to 4 leaves before I transferred it to this pot, and I was like, oh, it's time to transfer it to the pot because it was kind of going big. And the secret behind this big ass leaves is I got it from Kaylee Ellen. I know if you're a plantito or plantita, you would have watched her vlogs a lot of times because we look up to her. You know that she's one of my favorite bloggers, plant YouTubers, aside from Plantarina, Garden Answer, Summer Rain Oaks, etc. So yeah, she said in her vlog that she watered her pinstripe calathea with tank water or fish water, and I did it. I have a pond, and like ever since I started feeding or watering my pinstripe calathea with pond water, it grew a lot faster and a lot bigger. That's why I think this is one of my favorites right now. I have a lot of calatheas, and this one's so far my favorite at the moment. Okay, so we're done with 3 plants. I'm going to move on to the 4th plant in my collection, which is in my back. I don't know if you can see it, but alright, so this one is the 4th plant in my collection. This is the Skindexus pictus, or let's say in other words, satin pothos. This satin pothos is about like a few months old with me. I bought it because I just bought it because I didn't get my hands on Skindexus pictus pre-pandemic. I don't know why. I kind of did not like Skindexus pictus before. I think it could be the way how it looked in their pots before when the sellers were potting them. But yeah, I bought this one out of like curiosity, let's say, because I want to try how they grow, and yeah, it's very shocking though. It is growing a lot for me, fast, very fast, and this one's a new unfurling leaf, if you would see that one, and this one's a new unfurling leaf, this one's the old leaf, and I thought the plants would grow smaller leaves when they trail, but I was wrong. This one is quite large compared to this, and I know this one is kind of a small plant to start with. That's why it's having small, newer foliage. But I'm having I'm having more hopes with this one because it's kind of larger than the old leaves right here. And there's another one right here. And my plan is I'm going to propagate this one and put this in the same pot so that I would have a thick kind of vibe Skindexus. You know what I mean? Kind of like the other Skindexus, Plantarina Skindexus pictus. It was really so pretty. If you have seen her videos where she talked about her Skindexus pictus, totally goes. And yeah, I know it's a common plant, don't get me wrong, and I do not underestimate common plants. If you love plants, you don't like, that's just common, I don't want that, if you love plants, if you truly love plants, then you would not pick, you would not compare who's better, who's not, who is common, who is like this, I don't want the rare one, the commons are trash. No, common, uncommon, rare, whatever you call it, they're all plants. If you love plants, you should all love them. So moving on to the last plant in this list is the plant that I was really bad of taking care of. I kind of labeled it as my bad luck plant because I couldn't keep it for so long. It would die on me eventually, and it's really shocking because I've tried a new medium and it did well for me. So the last plant, if you haven't seen it in my background, is Heterophyllacorazon or Heterophyllacorazon. Really pretty plant, and this, the alocasia that would really put a smile on my face every morning, every time I check it. I'd be happy and proud of myself because I am finally successful of taking care of alocasias, knowing that my history of alocasias isn't so well. And talking about the medium, this alocasia is in pure sphagnum moss, if you can see that. And if you can see the roots right there, that's the sphagnum moss, and that's the alocasia. So yeah, I saw this vlog from an Indonesian plant blogger. He mentioned about his alocasias being in pure sphagnum moss, where he said he could control the water better, he could control the repotting better. So I tried to kind of consider it, and I told myself, like, why wouldn't I try it out? So I did got this. I got this for 100 pesos just near our place. I didn't have any idea what kind of alocasia that this was. I just bought it for the blue tinge to it. If you could compare the leaves, the leaf color, this one has a blue tinge to it, and this one has like a green color. And I know this one's a pretty common alocasia here in Cebu, but nevertheless, talking about or whatever you call it, regarding about success and like the growth rate of this alocasia, this would be one of my favorite plants at the moment. Yeah, it's one of my favorite plants, and yeah, I do kind of like to see how the roots are doing well here, or the roots are how the roots are doing. That's why I chose to recycle I think this is a water bottle or a soy sauce bottle. I did, and I placed a lot of holes here. And yeah, the only time I water this one is when I touch the sphagnum and if it's really dry on top. But if I touch it here, it's kind of wet, then I don't water it yet. I only water when I see this part of my container like kind of dry. I can still see moisture, so I don't water it. That's why this is one of my favorite plants in my collection at the moment. Alocasia Heterophyllacorazon. Pretty. Alright, so now you've seen all the 5 plants that are currently in my favorite list this week, and it might change the next week, the week after next. It depends. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, because I did, and I really apologize if the setting is not that amazing, or let's say if it's kind of dark, not bright. I still need to invest some lighting stuff, camera stuff, editor stuff. I'm just using my laptop editor. Honestly though, no lies, no shems, just my laptop editor. So yeah, I'm hoping that in the future I could improve for you guys if you want more content. And if you do like this video, and if you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. It's gonna help me a lot in the future. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. It's down there. And I'll try to do 2 videos this week. Hopefully I can do 2 videos due to my schedule, and that's it, I think. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I will see you in my next one.